Well, this week we prepare for the installation of the rudder stock assembly, we mourn the passing of one of my microphones, and I've got a new toy to play with. Another day in paradise. What are we doing today, Rach?
Check up on your work, that's what I've come for.
Check up on my work. Should check up on it every day. Oh!
God, is that down my back?
Yeah. Full moon. That's first job then. First job is empty your bucket. You know, your posh handbag for your boat work.
It's not my posh handbag, it's my boat bag.
Is it your boat bag?
Yeah, it's got my name on it.
So what we're trying to do today is just get tidied up a little bit again. So I've got me helper with me today, and hopefully we should get a little bit more tidied up and start moving some of this stuff into the boat, ready for when we start working in the back cabin. Quite a few of you have said, Sean, why don't you go out and get yourself one of those laser cutting, welding, cleaning machines? And the reason I haven't has been budget, for obvious reasons. But eventually I managed to convince Xlaserlab to let me have one of these units to try. And it's one of their portable units, a 700 watt unit. It's not the Big Daddy. They cost quite a few bucks. But this is your more portable sort of everyday use unit. And I'm going to give it a try and tell you what I think. Mullers the well.
What?
So it mullers the well. They've turned the power down a bit, I think. That's better. Now that was my first attempt at cutting steel using the laser welder, and it does take a little bit of practice, and what I've figured out was I got better as I went. The problem I've got is this laser is supposed to cut 3mm steel maximum, and my steel is 4mm, but I did find that if you're a little bit careful, go a bit slower, you can still cut 4mm steel, so that's really exciting. That was my first try, and what I was really amazed by was I was able to use plastic 3D printed template and still cut it with the laser cutter without melting it. Just a little bit of distortion on a small part of the edge. So that was pretty amazing. That's quite a cold cut, and it still managed to cut the 4mm steel. Yeah, look at the steel that was left. That's quite a neat cut. So that was impressive, and I look forward to doing more of that. I think I'll get better as I go along. That was my first ever try, and already the result is quite usable.
Met when the leaves were falling, it felt like home. It was like you could see right through me, but now I'm all alone. I couldn't make you love me, now I know why. Two wrongs don't make a right. I know you don't deserve me, and I'll be alright.
So I really enjoy the laser cleaning. The problem I've got though is for this boat's a big project, and the laser cleaning line is just under a centimetre. It's 0.8 centimetres, 8 millimetres. So to clean up a whole thing like the rudder stock will take a long time, and that's not really what this laser's designed for. Xlaserlabs do have a bigger laser, I think the Q laser or something like that, I don't know. I wouldn't mind one of those, but they're quite a pricey unit. They're out of my budget. So you make do with what you've got, and I found that for workflow, big areas, the laser cleaner's probably not going to be the right tool for me. So I've been using the Whizzy wheels. I tend to find that those fibre discs are definitely the best. These for removing general rust and paint. They're quite quick. I really like those. But what they're no good at is getting in the corners, inside things like tubes, along welds, seams, all those places that traditionally you just can't get to. The laser cleaner is absolutely fantastic for that. And best of all, it's tremendous fun. I just can't believe I can't put the bloody thing down when I start using it. This is future stuff. I'm telling you, it really is future stuff. Anyway, so workflow, fibre wheel, and then we'll use the laser cleaner to get into all those edges and things that we can't do. And then we'll get this steel plate down onto the hull, and we'll see if we can cut out the holes for it. So it was only last week, on last week's video, where I said to you a reason I wear the microphone here is so I don't drop it and lose it. And what did I do in that very same video is I dropped my microphone, didn't notice it, and then found it several days later, laying in a pool of water down here. Here it is. And sadly, I tried to revive it using the heater, but it was not to be. The microphone had deceased. So, a new microphone. Old one in the bin. Anyway, let's get on. Lots to do. Right, if you look carefully here, this is where the hull plate is. This goes through the hull, that protrudes beneath the bottom. And about here, you might not be able to see it very well, but there's a divot. It goes all the way around. And that's because that's where water's been sitting. If I continue flat wheeling away at this to get rid of that divot, I'll make the metal thin. And we'll probably be welding around here anyway when it's in and thicken some of this up. So we can probably pad weld this up once this is actually in place. But I need to get this rust out of here. And I think the best way to do that is with the laser. That's what it's perfect for, because it'll remove rust from wherever you can see in a straight line. So the fact that it's in these divots and pits won't make any difference. And there's a few pits here. So I'm going to try the laser on here and see if that does what the flat wheel wouldn't without removing too much metal. Right, nerve-wracking part of the build. I've marked out the holes in the hull where the rudder tubes drop through. Measure 3 times, measure 4 times. We're only going to be able to cut once. I've been over it several times, just double checking and thinking in my head, is there anything else I need to think about before I cut those holes? I don't think there is. So the next step then is to cut some new holes in our new hull. Right, so I've got 2 new holes in my boat and they need a little bit of cleaning up. So what did I think about the laser cutter? It's bloody good. It's not designed for 4mm steel, it's supposed to be for 3mm max, as I've said, but I've found that with technique, because when I get the technique right and I make it nice and smooth, it seems to cut through okay. But usually I find that I need to make more than 1 pass, but that's fine. So what we really need to do now is flat wheel those out, get them to size, drop this through, make sure they fit, finish off just cleaning up all the bits and pieces on here. Some of this back edge wants to clean up, and then we can drop it in and tack weld it in. Thumbs up for the Xlaserlab X1 Pro. Thank you very much for letting me use it, and you'll see a lot more of this in the future videos because it's going to be bloody handy, I'm telling you. Right, thumbs up, subscribe button, hype button, bell icon, leave us a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.